All right, so now that we've installed Node, we're going to do some command line initiation of projects, and that's going to be more as we move towards the end of the semester. So this is me kind of getting you ready for that moment in time. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the terminal. So go back to your view and terminal window, and we have our little terminal down here. So what we need to do first of all is we need to create a project that we're going to initialize as a Node.js project. So we installed Node.js, and now we're going to create a Node.js project. Notice I don't have an HTML page currently, I just have a JavaScript file, and I've called it app.js. So we, just like when we do Git and GitHub, you need to initialize a Git repository. We need to initialize a NPM project. So I'm going to do NPM in my command line down here, NPM Init. And what it'll do is it'll start asking me some questions. So the first thing it's asking me is, what is the package name? I know it's at the bottom of the screen here, but it's kind of the best. There we go. So package name. And what it did was it defaulted to the name of the folder that I was in. I'm currently in Node and NPM, and so it says, is this the one that you meant? So what's in the parenthesis is the default. So if you have spaces, for example, it might try to rename it, put some dashes in it instead, because it can only be one word. Mine was one word. Is that the package name? Yes, that's the package name, so I'm going to hit the Enter key. Versions, self-explanatory. What version of the software are you creating? Well, this is my first round, so I'm just going to hit the Enter key. Description is kind of self-explanatory. Let's see if I can spell this. This is my first Node.js project. Okay, I'm going to hit the Enter key. Entry point. Now, entry point comes into play as we move into frameworks like Vue and Angular and React. We're going to get introduced to Vue here in the next couple of weeks, but for now, we are just in this project. So it's asking us, what is the entry point? So when you do Vue or Angular or React, your first entry point is not going to be an index.html page, but it's actually a JavaScript page that is going to control what HTML pages are going to be displayed. So this really isn't relevant to us at the moment, but it will be in the future. So I'm going to hit the Enter key. Test command, if we had some testing scripts that we wanted to run against our software, or there's some testing packages that you could use, which we don't have, so I'm just going to hit the Enter key. Git repository, if you had a Git repository set up, we don't currently for this project, so I'm just going to hit Enter. We can add that later as we provide one or as we create one. Keywords are ways for if we actually published this project in something we'll see very shortly, in something called NPM, which I will show you shortly. This would be a way for people to find our project, but we're not going to publish this, so I'm just going to hit the Enter key. Author is kind of self-explanatory. I'm just going to put my initials. Licensing. So ISC licensing is kind of the default. I will accept that, and then I will show you what licensing is after we finish this. So for a moment, I'm just going to take the default. So then it asks me, is this okay? And I'm looking at what was created, which looks very suspiciously like a JSON file or JavaScript objects. So if I hit Enter or I type in yes, then it says, yes, that's okay, and it's going to create this something called package JSON, coincidentally. So it is actually a JSON file, and it has all of these defaults that we just put into it. So we're going to see how these things come into play and how they work with our project momentarily, but just recognize now we have initialized a Node.js project, and we have this JSON file that has key value pairs with all of the entries that it prompted us for when we first created this project.